In a quiet corner of a world-class restaurant where crystal chandeliers reflected soft golden light onto polished marble floors, no one noticed the shy waitress at first, and that was exactly how she preferred it, because Lily had learned early in life that staying invisible was safer than being seen. Safer than being judged for the way her hands sometimes moved when she was nervous or the way her eyes always searched faces for understanding rather than sound, and on that particular evening she moved gently between tables carrying plates with practiced care, her uniform neatly pressed, her dark hair pulled back, her heart steady until she noticed the elderly woman sitting alone at a table meant for three, a woman with silver hair, kind eyes, and a quiet dignity that reminded Lily of her late grandmother, and when Lily approached to take her order, she noticed something familiar in the way the woman watched her lips instead of listening, in the way her head tilted slightly, and Lily realized with a soft ache of recognition that the woman was deaf, completely cut off from the music, the chatter, the clinking glasses that filled the room. And instinctively, without thinking, Lily raised her hands and signed slowly, carefully, "Good evening. My name is Lily. I'll be taking care of you tonight," and in that instant the woman's face transformed, her eyes widening with shock and then filling with warmth, as if someone had suddenly turned the lights back on in a dark room, and she signed back with trembling hands, surprised and delighted, asking Lily where she had learned, and Lily smiled shyly, signing that she had grown up with a deaf father and that sign language was her first language. And the two of them shared a moment so pure and human that the noise of the restaurant seemed to fade away, but across the room, seated at another table with business partners, was a man who had built an empire from nothing, a billionaire known for his sharp mind and colder reputation, a man named Alexander Hale, and he had come to this restaurant only because his mother insisted on celebrating her birthday here, even though he was late and distracted by deals and deadlines, and when he finally looked over and saw his mother laughing silently, her hands moving with excitement as she communicated with a waitress. Something inside him tightened, because for years he had watched his mother sit quietly in rooms where no one knew how to speak to her, watched her smile politely while being excluded from conversations, watched her loneliness, and now here she was, alive and glowing, connected, and he stood up without thinking and walked toward the table, his partners confused but irrelevant in that moment, and as he approached, he saw Lily signing patiently, respectfully, never rushing, never making the woman feel like a burden, and his mother looked up at him and signed excitedly, "She speaks my language," and Alexander froze, because no one had ever done that for his mother in public before, not without being hired, not without it being awkward or forced, and Lily noticed him then, her hands stopping midair, her shoulders tensing as she realized who he was, because everyone knew Alexander Hale, the billionaire whose name was whispered in financial circles, and she lowered her gaze, apologizing through sign and spoken words, afraid she had broken some rule, but Alexander raised his hand gently, his voice tight as he said, "Please don't stop," and Lily looked up, confused, and his mother took Lily's hand, squeezing it affectionately, signing that she hadn't felt this happy in years, and something cracked in Alexander's chest, a memory flooding back of being a small boy watching his mother cry silently in the kitchen because neighbors refused to learn even basic signs, of teachers dismissing her, of doctors speaking over her, and now this shy waitress, who barely spoke above a whisper, had given her more dignity in 5 minutes than most people had in a lifetime, and Alexander swallowed hard, his voice breaking as he asked Lily how much she was paid, and Lily misunderstood, thinking she was about to be fired, her hands trembling as she signed an apology, but Alexander shook his head quickly, tears gathering in his eyes as he said, "No, you don't understand. You've given my mother something priceless," and the restaurant had grown quieter, nearby diners sensing something profound unfolding, and Alexander turned to the manager, his usual commanding tone replaced with emotion, and said that Lily would be transferred immediately to be his mother's personal dining assistant whenever she wished, with a salary that made the manager gasp, but Lily shook her head, signing softly that she didn't want special treatment, that she just wanted to help, and that humility was the final blow that shattered Alexander's composure, because he had spent his life surrounded by people who wanted something from him, and here stood someone who wanted nothing at all, and he knelt slightly so he was eye level with Lily, signing clumsily but sincerely, "Thank you for seeing her," and Lily smiled through tears, signing back, "Thank you for seeing me," and the room erupted into quiet sniffles, waiters pretending to polish glasses, guests dabbing their eyes, and Alexander's mother reached up and touched her son's face, signing that she was proud of the man he had become, but that tonight reminded her that true wealth was connection, not money, and Alexander nodded, tears finally falling freely, not caring who saw, because in that moment he was a billionaire. He was just a son who had watched a stranger heal his mother's heart, and as the night ended, Alexander insisted on walking Lily to the door, offering her opportunities, education, support, anything she needed, and Lily accepted only one thing, a promise that he would keep his mother surrounded by people who spoke her language. And as Lily disappeared into the night, Alexander stood there holding his mother's hand, knowing his life had changed, and to everyone watching, it was a reminder that kindness spoken in any language can change destinies. And if this story touched your heart, if you believe small acts can create powerful miracles, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, because stories like this remind us why humanity still matters, and your support helps us share more moments that can move the world to tears.